how to be more open and receptive to money. You know, the way that I look at it, it's really more like a personal relationship than anything else. So it's rather like saying, oh, I'm just getting married. How do I stay open and receptive to my partner? And the honest truth is that you won't all the time, because sometimes you feel a lot of stress. But we all feel that in relationships, and we also feel it in relationship with money and also in relationship with life. Sometimes that stress seems to be caused by the topic, so money itself. And sometimes there's just, we could say there's tension in the system or tension in the energy field generally, that there's a lot of change going on, for example, and we're not always very good at handling change. And often as human beings, we don't really know what's going on. I expect that many people here have experienced that this year, especially this year. It feels to me like there's a lot of pressure on everybody on the planet. It's just like constant, because there's so much change going on. And that's not really just caused by us. I spent many years training with the Chinese masters. And that's where I really learned that actually these are big patterns. The energy patterns are big patterns that the Chinese have tracked for thousands of years, and they've kind of measured, and they know, they have a whole language for describing it. It's so much bigger than us, and we're just in that field where all of this is going on. And so sometimes we'll just feel pressure, or we'll feel very uncomfortable, or sometimes we feel amazing and maybe somebody else is feeling uncomfortable. It depends on your particular energy and how it kind of mixes with what's going on in the field. And so it's a very alive relationship, and a lot of it is learning through experience and through, more than anything, your curiosity, what's going on in this relationship. What does it feel like when it's really good? What does it feel like when it isn't really good? What does it feel like when I'm contracted, or when I feel nervous or afraid about money or worried about it? What does it feel like when I experience more flow with it? All these things you can experiment with and observe, and start to notice what makes a difference. It was very interesting. I spoke to somebody a little earlier today, and she runs a very successful business, and she has an application in for a big grant. Her business is based on getting grants for running events. She has this big application in. She said, you know, Sarah, it's absolutely amazing, because she hadn't heard anything from the people who are doing the grants to hear whether it had been accepted or not for 2 or 3 months. And now it's very close to the deadline. If they don't make a decision in the next couple of days, it'll be too late. She said, I can't believe it, but I am not worried about it at all. And she said it was completely new for her. So I often think about things like that. It's like, so if somebody here who's running a good business, people in business often worry about money a lot. She can be in this position where a fairly substantial amount of money and some important work might or might not come in the next day or two. And she's done everything she can. And for her to literally not be worried about it, not to have any of that kind of likelihood to freak out if something goes wrong. What I see is a woman who is much more free to make more good decisions in her business. Because in my experience, the most time in business gets wasted through emotion, through people just being emotional and unclear and just messy in their heads. And so she's letting go of that. And that enables her to handle whatever comes along much more easily. So those kinds of things to me are very important, because we can't always ensure that life will be easy or that money will be plentiful. And there are all kinds of things that affect our relationship with money. But if we can manage our own responses to the situation, we can have the maximum amount of clarity and presence of mind and ability to make wise decisions and ability to be grounded and sensible, you know, and not spend money that we don't have. That to me is very, very significant. And then when your mind is clear, you can engage with wise decision making, then you have the best chance of managing your life in the way that you want to, and create the kind of results that you want to create.